Hi, this is Patty with Crooked Tree Creations, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own dahlia wreath for your front door. In part one of this tutorial, I'm going to show you the supplies you're going to need. First, we need 2 rolls of the poly burlap mesh. The poly burlap is thicker than the regular poly deco mesh, and it's easier to control. I am using cream poly burlap in the wreath I'm making today. We will also be using just over 1 roll of the poly deco mesh. I'm using coral mesh today. This will be fused together with the poly burlap mesh. I will be showing you how to do that later on in part 2 of this tutorial. I actually learned this from someone else, and I will explain that later. To the next thing you're going to need is a cutting mat or a yardstick. You just need to measure out where you're going to cut your mesh. If you don't have either one handy, I have a great idea for you that I will show you when it's time to cut our mesh. To cut our mesh, the best thing to use is a wood burning tool. You can see I am going to be using a chisel tool on this. Okay. We are going to need a glass cutting board. Okay. If you do not have a glass cutting board, use a cookie sheet or something that can take heat, because that's what we were going to use with the wood burning tool to cut our mesh. Now, as for zip ties, you will need at least 1 pack of 100 8-inch zip ties. If you can find 6-inch, which I found 6-inch on Amazon, that should work out great. But definitely buy 2 packs of these just in case you go over for whatever reason. We are also going to be using the 4-inch zip ties. But yeah, just so you know, the 4-inch and the 8-inch are readily available at Walmart and Lowe's and your normal places. So for today's wreath, I will be using a 10-inch wire form. You can also use a 12-inch or even an 8-inch, whichever you prefer or whatever you can find. I find that the 10-inch forms are more difficult to come by. So if I run out of the 10-inch, I will go up to the 12-inch. Just to explain, the 10-inch form has 5 sections. You can see we have 5 sections here. The 12-inch form has 6. And since it's a bigger form, you would be using more product. An 8-inch form has only 4 sections and will use less product than what we are using today with a 10-inch form. We will also need some plastic canvas. Let me get this out of the way. A plastic canvas can be purchased in the yarn section of Hobby Lobby, Joann Fabrics, or Michaels. Make sure you get the 5 mesh and not the 7 mesh. The 5 mesh has bigger holes and will work much better for you. In fact, I don't know if the holes would be big enough that you could even attempt to use the 7 mesh. I am also using felt. I have white felt here today that I'm going to use. I bought this by the yard. We will be cutting this into a circle that we will put on the back of the wire form when we're done. We will also be using a Sharpie, scissors, and wire cutters. And that's pretty much all the supplies I believe we are going to need today. If you decide you may want to glue your petals in place, go ahead and get a, make sure you have a hot glue gun or some kind of glue. But that's pretty much it. And let's get going on how we are going to get the form prepared. First of all, we want to draw a circle using your Sharpie. I'll just do it right here. Just draw a circle. Excuse me. It's rather light, but you can see that the circle is there, and you just want to cut that out. I already have one cut out right here, and I'm going to put this inside the form. And I'm going to use the 4-inch zip ties for this, just because they're smaller, they're easier to work with. Just also a helpful hint. With these 8-inch zip ties, make sure you get the skinny ones. You will see the thicker ones are more expensive and they're not as easy to work with. You want something thin and they're less expensive, so you'll be good. Okay, first of all, you just kind of want to go in here, make sure you have at least one whole end from the front. Okay, and just kind of go all the way around. It doesn't matter if you do it from the front or from the back, because we're cutting these off anyways. That's what the wire cutters are for. Yeah, I have this cut a little bit big, but we're going to hide the back with that felt, so you're not going to see the little mistakes like that. Okay, then we just cut these off. Okay, and that's pretty much it. This is the end of part 1 of our tutorial. In part 2, I will show you how to cut your mesh using the wood burning tool. I will also show you the method I learned to fuse the 2 pieces of mesh together. Then I will also help you learn how to make the petals and attach them to the form. I'll see you then.